Alright, welcome to my sad little corner of the internet, and today I wanted to talk to you all about the 30-06, which is my favorite rifle cartridge. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, the 30-06 cartridge is the benchmark by which all other rifle cartridges are measured. Whenever anyone is talking about, some obscure rifle cartridge that I've never heard of, I always ask how it compares to the 30-06 in terms of bullet weight, diameter, velocity, so on and so forth. And the 30-06 is pretty diverse. I mean, you can find bullet weights all the way down to 120 grain, all the way up to like 220 grain. So a lot of diversity out there depending on what you want to do with it. And the 30-06 gets its name from 30 refers to the bullet diameter, and the .606 refers to the year it was invented, which was 1906. And it was developed in 1906 by the U.S. military for obvious military purposes. Shooting bad guys, defending freedom, blasting commies. I don't know if there were any commies back then. 1906? Probably. No, I don't think there were. Well, somewhere. I don't know. What do I know? Anywho. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. It served in World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, all the way up to present day, some say. I don't know. Maybe. According to my YouTube Wikipedia research, it's still being used. Not as much as it used to. Obviously, World War II, it saw a lot of use. It was used in the BAR, Browning Automatic Rifle, and it was used in the M1 Garand, which was, they produced a lot of them, about 6.2 million of them. So, very popular rifle, saw use all across all services during World War II. Really popular rifle, really popular cartridge. This was the cartridge that won World War II. Right here, the 30-06. I found this cool write-up about it on the NRA website, AmericanRifleman.org. This is pretty interesting. Check this out. This is about the Model 70, which is one of the most popular hunting rifles ever made by Winchester. I have one. And they saw some use. So anyway, here we go. So soon after Pearl Harbor, two members of the U.S. Marine Corps Equipment Board, Captain George Van Orden and Chief Gunnery Sergeant Calvin Lloyd, wrote a 72-page report titled Equipment for the American Sniper, which discussed the various types of rifles and telescopic sights available at the time. The report concluded that the best rifle/scope combination for use by the U.S. Marine snipers was the Winchester Model 70, chambered in 30-06, with an 8-power target scope made by some company I can't pronounce. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. High praise from the Marines, and it went on to be used by Carlos Hathcock, who is arguably the greatest U.S. sniper to ever live. Even Chris Kyle, who had the most confirmed kills in U.S. history, military history, said that in his opinion, Hathcock was the greatest sniper to ever live in U.S. history. Really, he's a legend in his own right. But one of the rifles he used was a Winchester Model 70, chambered in 30-06. He served during Vietnam, and the 30-06 saw use as a sniper rifle during Vietnam. But as I said, most commonly used during World War II. Is when it really saw a lot of use. And World War I, but primarily World War II. So, yeah, that is one heck of a pedigree, huh? Check that out. So, got some photos. Pretty cool. See those? Anywho, so that's a little brief thing about the history. Let's talk about ballistics. Alright, so when it comes to looking at ballistics, I like to use the Taylor knockdown formula. That's my favorite formula because it looks at the bullet weight, the velocity of the bullet, and the bullet diameter. How big of a hole is it going to make? And so how the formula works, is the bullet weight times its velocity times the bullet diameter divided by 7,000. And then that'll give you the number, and that'll give you its knockdown power. Now that number alone doesn't tell you anything, but you can use that number to compare it to other cartridges. For example, here's my notes right here. You can see that. I got 2 numbers written down there. So I looked at this box of Winchester I have here, 30-06, 150 grain, and I looked at the velocity at 500 yards. So 500 yards, it's trucking out there at 1,558 feet per second at 500 yards. Comes out of the muzzle at almost 3,000 feet per second. So I looked at it at 500 yards. I applied the Taylor knockdown theory. God, bumped the camera. And it gave me a 10.28. Now compare that to a 357, which I did down here. 357 mag right out of the barrel. Now this top number is at 500 yards, which obviously, if you know anything about physics, the bullet slows down over longer distances. I think at point blank, the number was like 19 something. 19.27, I think. But a 357 mag, 145 grain bullet, comes out of there at 1,290 feet per second. That's just the example I decided to use. Diameter 357. That gave me 9.53. So that tells you that at 500 yards, this particular bullet, made by Winchester, has more knockdown power, quite a bit more knockdown power, than a 357 mag fired at point blank. So that tells you a lot. It's a really, really adequate cartridge, really popular for hunting. I mean, during hunting season up here, we get a lot of hunters up here for bear, cougar, deer, elk, stuff like that. And 30-06 flies off the shelf. This is a box I got at the local hardware store. $24.99, $25 for a box of 25. So $1 round. Not cheap to shoot. This is 180 grain. Let's compare ballistics. For these two? Look at this. Let's see. They don't have 500 yards, but at 400 yards, it's coming at 1850. 400 yards, 1788. And muzzle velocity, 2,700. Right out of the muzzle. Jesus Christ, learn to speak. And the velocity out of this one is almost 3,000. Yet it maintains better velocity. And it's a heavier bullet. So, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Let's look at it. Ba-ba. These are the two. Check those out. This is 150 grain, this is 180 grain, and apparently this one's better at maintaining velocity. I don't see it. I mean, common sense tells you that a heavier object will slow down faster, right? Yeah, slow down faster. It will decrease in speed at a quicker rate than a lighter object. So, I'm not a brainiac. I didn't take physics, but that doesn't make any sense. But let's look at the box. Federal. It says, used for dangerous game, designed for maximum effectiveness at large game with tough hides, heavy bone and muscle tissue such as Cape buffalo and elephant. I don't think this is a great elephant cartridge. Man-stopper, for sure. Deer, elk, absolutely. I mean, this cartridge has been used to kill every big game animal in North America with some regularity. As I said, around here, you can't find 30-06 during hunting season. You can find 9mm. I have a 9mm here, don't I? Ha! Here's a 9mm for comparison. You can find 9mm, you can find 22, even 22. 22 are back. 38 special, 270. You can find all that stuff. Here's a 38 special for comparison. Check that out. And a little 22. Gosh, how many 22s can you fit in one of these? Let's see. 1, 2, boop. But yeah, like I was saying, you can find all that stuff. 30-06 just disappeared this hunting season. It's just a really popular hunting round. So I found this cool article about Hathcock on military.com titled White Feather vs. the Cobra. As previously stated, Hathcock used a Winchester Model 70 chambered in 30-06. He also used a modified 50 cal, I believe. But anywho, here's a cool photo of him shooting with a 30-06, the aforementioned Model 70. Anyway, this article about him on military.com, pretty cool, pretty interesting, titled White Feather versus the Cobra. And it goes as follows. If I hadn't gotten him just then, Hathcock remembers, he would have gotten me. Many American snipers had a bounty on their heads. These were usually worth $1,000 or $2,000. The reward for the sniper with the white feather in his bush cap, however, was worth $30,000. Like a sequel to Enemy at the Gates, Hathcock became such a thorn in the side of the NVA that they eventually sent their own best sniper to kill him. He was known as the Cobra, and would become Hathcock's most famous encounter in the course of the war. He was doing bad things, Hathcock said. He was sent to get me, which I didn't really appreciate. He killed a gunny outside my hooch. I watched him die. I vowed I would get him some way or another. That was the plan. The Cobra would kill many Marines around Hill 55 in an attempt to draw Hathcock out of his base. I got my partner. We went out, we trailed him. He was very cagey, very smart. He was close to being as good as I was, but no way, ain't nobody that good. In an interview filmed in the 1990s, he discussed how close he and his partner came to being victims of the Cobra. I fell over a rotten tree. I made a mistake and he made a shot. He hit my partner's canteen. We thought he'd hit because we felt the warmness running over his leg, but he didn't just shoot his canteen dead. He just shot his canteen dead. Eventually the team of Hathcock and his partner, Joe Berkey, and the Cobra had switched places. We worked around to where he was, Hathcock said. I took his old spot. He took my old spot, which was bad news for him because he was facing the sun and glinting off the lens of his scope. I saw the glint and shot the glint. White Feather had shot the Cobra just moments before the Cobra would have taken his own shot. I was just quicker on the trigger. Otherwise, he would have killed me, Hathcock said. I shot right straight through his scope and didn't touch the sides. With a wry smile, he added, and it didn't do his eyesight no good either. In 1969, a vehicle Hathcock was riding in struck a landmine, knocking the Marine unconscious. He came to and pulled 7 of his fellow Marines from the burning wreckage. He left Vietnam with burns over 40% of his body. He received the Silver Star for this action in 1996. After the mine ended his sniping career, he established the Marine Sniper School at Quantico, teaching Marines how to get into the bubble, a state of complete concentration. He was in intense pain as he taught at Quantico, suffering from multiple sclerosis, the disease that would ultimately kill him, something the NVA could never do. Pretty badass. This guy was the epitome of badass and marksmanship. Absolutely. And what did he use? 30-06. And a myriad of other weapons as well. But, yeah. Pretty cool. So, yeah. Philosophy of use. Great hunting rifle. As previously stated, been used to kill elephant. It's been used to kill deer, elk, cougar, bear, all sorts again. It would work in the prairie. It will work in heavily wooded areas. Very diverse round. Very, very diverse round. Go to war weapon cartridge? Absolutely. No doubt in that. That's what it was designed for. So, yeah. Very popular cartridge. Absolutely. And anyway, has a bit of a kick to it. Not gonna lie, it's got a bit of a kick to it. I went out shooting with my uncle. I was helping him sight in his rifle for hunting season a couple weeks ago. And it knocked me off balance. I wasn't prepared. It had been a while since I shot it, and I had forgot just how big that recoil can be. So anyway, got a video of that. Might as well show it. A little embarrassing, but yeah, roll clip.
Whoa! That knocked that young feller back just a tad. That's got some wallop there.
Yeah. Now that crack I sealed up seems to be holding. Let's see.
Marlowe's rifle is sporting a crack in the stock, which has been glued with Elmer's glue.
It was not Elmer's glue.
And we are hoping it holds. Holy cow, that thing's loud. And
I hit the bullseye though?
Oh, you were in the bullseye.
I hit the bullseye.
Twice.
Wait.
Yeah.
Once? No. Maybe twice.
Here's Marlowe's grouping. 1, 2, 3.
That one, we don't have to worry about that one. But 2 in the bullseye.
Yeah.
With nothing but fixed iron sights.
And I bet you these were your first 2 shots, and then on your last one,
I wandered a little.
You wandered a little. Yeah, that's awesome.
But still, fixed sights. I wasn't expecting with fixed sights.
That's good.
Yeah. Merca.